The thriller rights a sinking ship as first mates Jamie Porter and, more importantly, the gentlemen continue their plot to keep Travis Miller from advancing. But can Jamie Porter get something going in these final races to the championship? We'll soon find out as the BRP Pro Dirt Late Model Tour is live from Kokomo on PitStop TV. Welcome to the virtual Kokomo, Indiana. Joe Donahue and Trey Shuttlesworth join me from Sprint Car Country, and we thank you for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and even Twitter for the 10th round of 13. Kokomo Speedway, as I mentioned, is known for sprint cars. More specifically, Joe, USAC Sprints. Those high horsepower, high risk, high speed, non-wing spectacles of dirt are traded in this evening for big, burly, heavy, slidey late models, and I'm glad to be here for it with you, Joe.
I am so excited to be here. I feel like I'm right at home. This track is the closest big dirt track to when I'm out in Indiana for college. I've been here a lot of times. I've seen a lot of great racing from tons of different race cars. I've never seen late models here. This is going to be super exciting. I love this track on iRacing. I think they got it really well down. It fits the style. It fits the allure of the real Kokomo Speedway here, and these guys are going to have a great time working it in and making some good action for us tonight.
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree. It's a fantastic little racetrack. You see it in front of you, and you see how big those late models are. It's not because they're BMWs, that's because this is a quarter-mile racing facility, but look at how wide this place is, wider than a lot of tracks we visit on the schedule, and you can see how slicked off the top of the racetrack is. That top side, it's valuable, but once it gets dry, once it gets rubbered in like it is up there, boy, you're going to have to start searching around. You're seeing a lot of this racetrack towards the bottom is starting to get cleaned off, starting to get down to that good dirt here in practice for round number 10 of 13. But then there's a lot of unused dirt in the middle where guys have tossed some of those pieces of clay up into the middle grooves. Want to talk about points this evening as per usual. Let's take a look at it. After 9 of 13, Maxime Plant comes in with a 17-point lead. Gavin Eisel comes in third. But Jamie Porter, I think, is starting to steal some headlines. He is getting consistent.
Jamie Porter has been very consistent lately, and Travis Miller's even been getting a little bit back up there, which is pretty good for him. I mean, Maxime Plant, you see 4 wins. He's been rocking socks lately. He's been very consistent as well. So if you want to be able to get up there and compete with those guys, you're going to have to also be really consistent. But Jamie Porter is one of those guys we watch week in, week out anymore about whether or not he's going to be able to get in front of that 79. And a lot of the times he has a really good shot. So obviously tonight's just going to be another opportunity for him.
We're getting practice rolling. We've got 12 drivers so far in the session, along with 12 minutes to go. One of those guys just getting in here is Hunter Holberg. Look at him, up into 8th position. Now, he dropped way out of this top 10 for a while there, Joe. Now he re-enters this battle, and he gets right into, I think, the best battle in the entire series right now. Alan Slight, Hunter Reeve, Hunter Holberg, collectively 4 points apart, with Hunter Reeve slapped doggone in the middle, 2 points behind Slight and 2 points ahead of Holberg.
You know, we talked a lot of times at the beginning of the season about the Hunter versus Hunter battle. It just seemed like Reeve and Holberg were always side by side at the end of races, and obviously you look at the points championship, they've been neck and neck all season. Alan Slight got a little bit of a slower start with his first season here. He definitely got his wits about him and figured out how to race with these BRP boys, and he's got it rolling. He's obviously ahead of Hunter Reeve and Hunter Holberg, and I think Slight's one of those kind of dark horse guys, maybe not necessarily to win races, but definitely for top 5s anymore, and all of those guys obviously have been. Adam Hilton, Hunter Reeve, Hunter Holberg have all also been dark horses to get up into the top 5 and fight for the podium, so that's definitely a really great battle to keep watching out for over these next few races.
Absolutely it is. You see, again, the entire top 10. Now, Earl Jackson, who won back at Limaland, has dropped out of the top 10. He's not been with us here in a few weeks, but that could soon change. You never know. But I will say a lot of these drivers have dropped off as summer months have approached. And now that we're into the dead of June, we're almost to July 4th, believe it or not, we're going to start to see car counts, I think, take a little bit of a hit, but this series staying strong, keeping over 10 drivers in this league. And that's impressive considering the real-world obligations a lot of these guys have. Do want to check in on the weather so far this evening. 78 degrees in the air, that's pretty normal. 85 degrees in the track. Again, it's dirt. We don't really pay too much attention to that, but 2 miles per hour of wind tells me these are default iRacing conditions, a very calm, a very race-worthy day here in Kokomo, Indiana, so it should be nice and good for these guys as we get set to go for our usual rundown. Every Monday night, we have a couple of heats. We have a 40-lap feature. We get things done and dusted here in the BRP iRacing Series. I want to give a big shout out real quick to all of our partners here at the BRP iRacing Series. Of course, the namesake of the BRP iRacing Series, Bicknell Racing Products, as well as Matt Ritter Designs, Jam Performance, Costco Haulage, Miller's Auto Detailing, and everybody here at PitStop TV who makes it happen for us as well. Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, Race Pace Setups, BAM Racing Videos, and Whiplash Media. We're going to take a step away. We'll be right back to you momentarily as we get ready to go racing from Kokomo Speedway in Kokomo, Indiana. Andrew Cardinale along with Joe Donahue alongside Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media. Don't go anywhere. We're about to get round 10 underway.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the virtual Kokomo Speedway in the virtual Kokomo, Indiana. Late models at Kokomo, boy, this is something I didn't quite expect, honestly, when we got ready for this season of the BRP iRacing Series. Obviously, we saw it on the schedule, but before the schedule was released, I was never expecting to see Kokomo on a late model schedule. Glad we're here, though. This is a fantastic dirt track, historic dirt track as well. You can see some of the pictures here in the concourse underneath the grandstands on the front stretch of old sprint cars and their racers, of course. I saw names like JJ Yaley, Jeff Gordon that I'm more familiar with. Of course, Kinzer was on there, Bob Kinzer, I believe Steve Kinzer on there as well. A whole lot of fantastic names honored here at the Kokomo Speedway, and a lot to sort through this evening, Joe, as we've had 9 rounds to get this BRP iRacing series underway. We're now into the back 4 of those 13, so a lot's happened, a lot more is yet to happen, but we're down to crunch time.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely down to crunch time, and I think we kind of expected, or at least I had kind of expected out of Eldora specifically, when we went to Cedar Lake, I kind of thought, Maxime Plant's starting to get the gist on this season. He's starting to pull away. You know, is this going to be wrapped up quicker? And obviously Cedar Lake, Travis Miller came out swinging and got enough points to keep it interesting up front. While it's not super duper close, it is pretty darn close, I'd say. I think that's a fair official way to word it. So it's definitely exciting coming into those last 4 races. You know, you got only so much time to get as many points as you can. Travis Miller is on the afterburners. Jamie Porter's on the afterburners, trying to get as many points as possible. And it's going to make these guys be a little aggressive. And this is the type of racetrack, kind of a bull ring, that I think is going to suit that very well. So this should be a good race with that aspect in mind. And just moving that forward, you know, we're going to go to USA, which is flat, long straightaways. You're going to go to Fairbury, which is absolutely a bull ring, the dictionary definition of a bull ring, and then Charlotte, which is always exciting. So I think those racetracks are going to fit in really well to maybe the aggression that you're going to see out of these drivers as they prepare to try to get a couple more spots out of the championship. And it should play well and give a lot of different people an opportunity to have a racetrack that they might find a small advantage at.
Certainly using the variety of the iRacing provided dirt tracks quite nicely here in this schedule. You see, we started things off way back at Volusia back in April, on April 19th, if you can believe it. We've gotten all the way through 9 races now. Lernerville followed Volusia up, then Limaland, Knoxville, Lanier, Bristol, Weedsport, Eldora, now Cedar Lake last week, making classics along the way. Kokomo this evening, the lone Indiana date, I do believe still, yeah, the lone Indiana dirt track on the iRacing.com service. But then look ahead at some of the racetracks we've got, well, the 3 racetracks we've got after this evening to wrap up the season. USA, a big, honestly, a super speedway for these guys, 3/4 of a mile. Then Fairbury, that is another 1/4 mile bull ring. Then we wrap things up at another big speedway, 1/2 mile at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I think USA is going to be very interesting for these cars. USA is a lot flatter of a racetrack than, you know, Kokomo with that high line, Fairbury with the high line, and Charlotte's got a bit of banking on it as well. But USA is going to be really interesting in that aspect. You go to Fairbury, which is just crazy. I mean, the banking at the very top of the wall versus how short you can go into the corner, how wide those turns are. And then obviously Charlotte, which is just exciting. It's fast. It's got long turns, and the track's just built for excitement, more or less. I don't really know how else to explain it other than it's the Charlotte dirt track. It's exciting. So there's a lot of different aspects like that, but I agree about the sort of the super speedway aspect that we're going into USA next week, and maybe that's going to affect how these guys kind of give themselves an outlook going out of this race, and maybe that'll even affect how they think about their attack for Kokomo tonight.
Certainly, I have to agree with some of those sentiments, Joe. Glad you're laying it all out on the line, because I really couldn't say some of that better than you, if any of that. So certainly a lot to look forward to the rest of this season. USA next week, Fairbury, then Charlotte. Going to be interesting as we wrap up a championship here at the BRP iRacing series. This is the 3rd season now that we've held coverage of these Monday night dirt nights here on PitStop TV. So glad we have them as well. I personally always look forward to Monday nights because I know it's dirt. I know I get to work with Joe Donahue, get to work with Trey Shuttlesworth, and we get to see these cars on track. It's always a fun time. I do want to highlight practice times coming in. We've got, it looks like 13 cars so far. Ryder Strauff, one of the latest ones, in fact, the latest driver to connect to the session. Good to see he's getting out here. We've even got Richard Pereira coming up in 12th currently in practice. Hunter Eve is out here, Dean Weitzler, Randy Giroux, Alan Slight, Gavin Eisel, Jamie Porter. You work your way on up into the top 5. You've got Brett Fisher, Maxime Plant, Travis Miller. A big night so far, a big practice session so far here for Tanner Correa, along with Adam Hilton leading the way.
Yeah, Adam Hilton's definitely been strong the last couple races, and he's top charts occasionally, but obviously, there's so many great drivers in this field. It's tough to be the best driver in a session, but right now, obviously, Adam Hilton is holding that top spot. Tanner Correa in second, which is great for Tanner as well. Tanner's been getting very consistent lately in this series and starting to put together really solid top 10 and top 5 runs. Those are two guys in that sort of mid-pack battle that we've talked about. They're starting to fight to get into that top 3, and they're just getting a really good points battle on too. So those guys, those are definitely going to be people who are pushing their limits right now and trying to just get edges here and there, because obviously Travis Miller wants as many points as possible, right? Because he's got to close that gap to the championship lead. But those guys in that battle, Adam Hilton, the Hunters, they're all 2 points apart, right? They're maybe 3-4 points for some of the other guys. So those points are really crucial for them to try to find a little bit of a gap as we continue on into the last 3 races.
Watching things wrap up, the timer runs out here in practice from Kokomo. They've got just a few moments left as we take a look on the front stretch from that victory lane, and somebody will be parking it here this evening at the Kokomo Speedway. Can't wait to see. Boy, what a transition, let me tell you. That is the perfect transition. Obviously, every time we come to Indiana for any kind of dirt races, and gotta remember Brian Clausen taken from us certainly far too early, but it's time to get out there and get qualifying underway. The first to hit the track, look at this, Dean Meitzler in the 49 car, the Silver Bullet, gonna see what he can do now to turns 3 and 4, gonna start his flying lap.
Dean Meisler didn't get a lot of rotation out of that turn, and he doesn't get a lot of momentum down the front straightaway. That's not a really great way to start off this session, but you get 2 laps for a reason. He's going to work his way out of turn 2, slide all the way up to the wall, go to the top side of the track, and try to rip something off this final corner.
Working around turns 1 and 2 now, down the backstretch to wrap up his second lap. He went 6th the first time out. We'll see what he can do now this time across the stripe to wrap up his qualifying run. It looks like he will stay pretty consistent, but up a couple of positions. Jamie Porter, though, currently fastest. Brett Fisher's on the speedway. Gavin Eisel has made the trip out to Kokomo, Indiana. Here's his number 18 as we get qualifying further underway.
And Gavin Eisel's somebody I wanted to mention to watch tonight, because this kind of racetrack, I think the top's going to work in really nicely, and then there's going to be a point where it kind of wears out. And this is one of the bottom-feeding guys in this series that likes to go to the bottom. You see Gavin Eisel kind of working down into the bottom of the corner right there. That was his cool down as we catch Hunter Reeve as well. Those are another really great guy that I think we can watch see the bottom side in this race. So those are 2 guys to watch out over the course of the night. But for the moment, Hunter Reeve just trying to barely skim that wall, not get any of it, and get that contact to invalidate the lap. But you got to get as high as you can if you want to rip around the top side here at Kokomo.
Seems like he's taking some extra laps. He got the wall there into 1. This is an extra lap certainly on his qualifying run. And what I'm noticing here, and this is something I noticed actually in practice myself earlier today, is how grippy the front tires in these late models have gotten. Now, if you go back to Season 2 here on iRacing, that began in March, these tires, they got a big update on these dirt late models. It may have even happened in the middle of Season 2. I actually don't recall when that update was dropped. What I do know is grip levels were changed across the board, and they have really changed how these cars handle. Most notably, I think in the front of the car, you've got to be so much more careful with the way you correct the race car. It seems like the nose is a lot more grip, so the front tires certainly gripping the dirt a lot better than they used to. You used to be able to just get out there and hold the car sideways, big corrections back to the right, and not immediately turn back to the right. Now you've got to be a lot more precise. That catches a lot of drivers off guard. But here is the gentleman, Maxime Plant, one of the best at it in these late models. He's just 4/100ths off the pole time now across the line for lap number 2. Does he go faster? No! Maxime Plant, second in qualifying.
That was really interesting. I was kind of expecting Maxime to put a little bit more together on that second run. Ryder Schrauf, now the only driver coming out onto the track to qualify. There's only 2 guys left who haven't gotten runs in, that being Ryder and Richard Pereira. So definitely interesting that Plant went faster on that first lap, as you're going to see Ryder Schrauf going to disappear right here. So he didn't get a lap in, and he's not going to get a lap in at all for qualifying for these heat races.
That's something you have to keep in mind if you're a driver trying to get some extra laps in. You've got to be there for qualifying if you want to better your starting position. But, hey, we'll take a look at the guys who will line up in this first heat race. You see some of them lining up on the front stretch now. Let's take a look down our heat number 1 grid. Starting first this evening in heat number 1, pole time, it's Jamie Porter in the 45 car. Finished 3rd last week at Cedar Lake. He will lead off this first heat from pole. Brett Fisher will take up the outside of that 45 car. Starting third, though, in Heat 1, you'll have Tanner Correa in the number 11 with Hunter Reeve in the double 4 to his outside. Starting 5th place this evening in Heat number 1, you'll find Adam Hilton in that 3 car with Gavin Eisel outside, and rounding out the 7-car field for an 8-lap heat race, we'll have Tyler Pachalski in the 121.
Now, this is going to be a really interesting heat race. You got Adam Hilton back there in 5th, Tanner Correa in 3rd. Those two guys were fast in practice, but obviously not starting on the front row. They're going to have a tall order to get around Jamie Porter and Brett Fisher. Those two guys have been very strong these last few races, and obviously starting from the front's an advantage on a tacky track like this. So this is definitely going to be exciting to see how this first heat turns out.
The track has, of course, been prepped between practice and qualifying. It's been torn up, it's been tilled, it's been farmed, ready to go green flag racing now. For the first time from Kokomo, green flag flies over the field of 7, and we're racing in Indiana, side by side at turn 1. Brett Fisher, a big advantage. Lap 1 takes that lead away. Porter tries to follow suit. The top side, gonna be better off all night long.
Little bit of understeer there for turn 4 with Brett Fisher up front. Jamie Porter now all over that tail, and oh, they get into contact together. Middle of the corner. Is he going to save it? Yes, they're all over the place on the front stretch.
We keep racing here in this first heat. We stay green. Hunter Reeve digs the bottom side to the inside of Correa, but Correa's got the run up top.
Top side's definitely the better place to be right now. Tanner Correa rips off of that cushion. Momentum brings him to the race lead. They come past the stripe again. Hunter Reeve not going to give up any time at all. Correa goes fastest last time around, and there is a neck-and-neck battle up front for the lead.
Now across the line to complete lap number 4. Halfway in this first heat, Correa leading. It's the 44 in behind. They start to gain on Adam Hilton, putting time between themselves and the 3 car. Now Pachalski up to 3rd. The battle ensues into 3 and 4. Into the wall goes the 3. The 121 slides. Hilton wins it.
Hilton bounced off the wall, got that car back in line, and got rolling. He hits the wall again in 1 and 2. That's going to allow Brett Fisher a chance. He gets into Pachalski. The 221 cars made contact. Pachalski goes way down to the bottom side of the racetrack. He saves the car. Fisher around the top side. Is he going to get around? Not quite, but he's going to try again. Gavin Eisel going to try to go under.
Oh, he turns him!
Around goes Pachalski, and as they come out of the final corner, the white flag comes out. These guys are still racing real hard up front.
White flag out for the race leader, Tanner Correa, into turn 3 and 4. Gonna have to work around the slow car, Pachalski. Hunter Reeve can't do anything about it. Across the line, Correa wins it. Then it's Reeve, Hilton, Fisher. No, it's gonna be Eisel in front of Porter now for 5th, and Pachalski takes 6th. 7th.
What a run.
Rather.
What a run to the finish. That was exciting. There was a lot of contact in that one. I can only imagine how this rest of the night's gonna go.
Boy, it's going to be something, isn't it, as we get ready to go for green flag racing in heat number 2. The second of 2 heats about to roll away. After that little preview of action this evening, boy, we've got a lot to look forward to for sure. On pole for heat number 2, we're going to find the gentleman Maxime Plant in the number 79. The thriller Travis Miller to his outside, starting 2nd. Those two, they'll have to go head-to-head for these valuable heat points. Starting 3rd in heat number 2, it's Dean Meitzler in the silver bullet with Alan Slight in behind in 4th. Starting 5th, it's going to be Randy Giroux, the big show in the 24. Richard Pereira on his outside, and rounding up the show is going to be Ryder Schrauf.
So Richard Pereira didn't quite make the call initially right there. That's why you only see 6 cars running around the track. Hopefully Richard can get that 196 car out here, but holy cow, this front row. I mean, we talk about these guys every week. Travis Miller, Maxime Plant, they're going to start side by side. Only one of them can win this heat race, so they're going to be dogging. Dean Meitzler, Alan Slight behind him, going to make things exciting as well, but woo-wee, I wouldn't want to be in this heat.
Can't wait to see how this one goes. We've seen a lot already. Green flag going to fly over the field. We're racing once again. And already that top side has the lead. Miller takes it into 1. The top side going to be preferable all night long, and already race leaders are going to have to be on top of that one. Miller leads now lap number 2, but Plant's in behind.
We're working that top side up into the part where you start bottoming the car out a little bit. That's going to make things really interesting throughout the rest of this heat race. You got to be really careful and really precise where you put this late model if you don't want to bottom out, hit that wall, any of that jazz. Travis Miller doing a pretty solid job in front of Maxime right here, but I would be pretty nervous. I'd be watching that mirror if I were Travis right now. Maxime doesn't put a foot wrong regularly, so it's definitely going to be putting out your best effort if you want to get these 4 bonus points.
Maxime Plant all over Travis Miller, making him work for it. This would bring us to, 16-point gap between these two, so it's getting close. It's getting to where Travis Miller has a breath of life in this championship fight. He's just got to capitalize every step of the way. It starts here in this heat race.
Definitely, and this is 1 point, but that's pretty crucial for Travis Miller. He needs any help he can get. I'm sure he wishes that Alan Slight and Randy Giroux were a little bit closer to this battle, that they could maybe steal some extra points, but he's running the top side and he's pretty top dominant right now, so with 2 laps to go, he should be okay, sparing some big dives at the final end of it from Maxime Plant, but they're going to come around 3 and 4. Maxime got a lot better run that time. White flag out for Travis Miller.
I think kind of cutting off some of the exit out of turn 4 is actually a little bit faster. It worked that time for Miller. Now, final time to the backstretch in heat number 2. It's the 22 leading the way. The double deuce takes heat 2. Travis Miller wins the heat, takes home 4 points. That's 1 more than second place Maxime Plant, and that is going to make all the difference as time starts to run out in this season. That 1 point could be it between these two drivers. That is how important these heat races are. You've got to be on top of it every step of the way, and it starts with qualifying. It continues with heat racing and goes on into the feature. If you want to win the championship, you've got to do what Maxime Plant has done all season long and maximize those heats to the best of your ability. But we've got 14 cars ready to go for 40 laps. Joe Donahue, take us through this top 10.
So we start off on the front row, your 2 heat race winners. Tanner Correa on the inside starting from pole, and to his outside going to be the thriller, Travis Miller. Going to have to watch out for these two. Go back to row number 2. Starting on the inside, you've got Hunter Reeve in car number 44. To his outside, the gentleman and championship leader, Maxime Plant. You got starting 5th, you got the number 3 car on the inside of row number 3. That's Adam Hilton. Watch for some speed out of him as he tries to rip down the bottom side. Alan Slight to his outside for this starting grid in 6th. Starting 7th place, you got Brett Fisher in the number 21, and in 8th spot on the grid, Randy Giroux in car number 24, the Big Show. Rounding out your top 10 for this one tonight, Gavin Eisel and Dean Meisler will be on row 5 together to lead us to green.
Starting 11th in our feature race this evening, Jamie Porter in the 45, now with Beefy Sports with Ryder Schrauf to his outside in the 058. Starting 13th, it's Tyler Pachalski in the 141, and Richard Pereira not making the grid but listed in the 14th position. So 13 cars will get at it here for 40 laps this evening from the Kokomo Speedway in Kokomo, Indiana. I say this evening, more like this afternoon. Take a look at the sun on this speedway. We love sunny skies. We love daytime racing. We're ready to do it for 40 laps. Green flag flies. The BRP iRacing series at Kokomo is underway. Already big calamity to turn 1. And a caution flag flies for an incident further back. It may actually be related potentially to the start. There is one car way off pace. It is Brett Fisher.
Yeah, I think that probably was just sort of that bottleneck situation that happens. I mean, we're coming off the green flag. Everybody's all bunched together. 13 drivers in one corner. And we saw what happened with Tanner Correa at that start, and it very likely just would have backed him up. So, actually, Brett Fisher got turned before they even got to the stripe. Brett Fisher got turned by Gavin Eisel there out of turn number 4.
Yeah, so problems there for Brett Fisher. That would explain the caution flag. We'll take one more look back at it here for the driver of the 21. Big problems as they came to the start. We saw everything that happened with Tanner Correa and Travis Miller and Maxime Plant, where Correa, again, got caught sleeping because he started first. So that top side was dominant, and there you see the spin for Brett Fisher as everybody races by our speed shot into turn 1. The interesting thing, though, Joe, is that Tanner Correa, I think, is going to have the race lead after all of this. And, I would imagine he would be able to choose where he wants to start for this one, but he's staying on the inside like he maybe can't. Who knows? We'll see what they do now across the line to get this race restarted. Back under green flag racing, and Miller wins the battle to 1.
Interesting strategy there by these guys as the top side very dominant. You can see Travis Miller and Maxime Plant just absolutely clear Tanner Correa right there. Gavin Eisel up top now. Correa got to slide up and he's in before and past the sprint again. Very interesting run right there, but you got to just keep watching. That top side's dominant right now, but everybody's using it. There's only a matter of time before it starts getting slipped off.
Watching them race through the top 5 or so. Travis Miller with the race lead. Currently the thriller, thrilling for the second week in a row. But Maxime Plant won't let him get far. Gavin Eisel sits in 3rd. 4th place, Tanner Correa. And 5th, Jamie Porter. What an esteemed top 5.
Yeah, definitely 5 drivers that have been putting up a lot of really great efforts. I mean, Tanner Correa obviously came out with a heat win tonight. Jamie Porter's been very fast, very consistent. Gavin Eisel even got a win on the season. Jamie Porter did too. But those guys have been some of those ones who can really fight with Miller and Plant. You see Porter try to slide job. Huge dirty slider off the nose of Tanner Correa. He goes back on the underside in turn number 3, and he just barely clears him. But Jamie Porter, he didn't quite get that run down the front stretch.
I think Jamie gave that one to him after the mistake. In turns 1 and 2, he must have given that one to him, just realizing his own mistake. You see Reeve and Hilton standing behind trying to keep up with these guys, and they were kind of checking up a lap ago. We're on lap 8 now of 40 laps, starting to click away. Let me knock on wood real quick as we get things going. Here at Kokomo, Travis Miller still leads, the top 3 breaking away.
Yeah, this field's kind of split into 3 groups. You got your lead 3 cars, you got this mid-pack going with the 4th through 7th spots, and then the rest of the crew back there behind. So very interesting that it's so separated. And also you can see Brett Fisher right here kind of falling off the tail. I'm kind of surprised by that. I would have thought he might be able to hold on a little bit better, but evidently there might be a little bit of damage on that car.
Love these static shots around the Kokomo Speedway. Travis Miller still leading the way now as 10 laps are complete here in Indiana. There's the first move from Maxime Plant down low. That bottom side is going to be formidable. We talked about it pre-race, but well, pre-broadcast even, Joe. That bottom side will come alive, but when?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously everybody's running up top right now. You can tell how much more dominant and how much more preferred it is, but at the same time, every car runs to the top side, it wears out, and then eventually the bottom side's the place where there's grip. So one of those guys that we talked about too that was going to be able to pull that off is Gavin Eisel. He loves to play catfish when we come out to these races, and you can see, I mean, he's doing it right now. He goes around the outside of Brett Fisher, and he will stay up top through 3 and 4, but he's definitely a guy to watch to see when the bottom side starts coming into play, and everybody else on the track knows that too.
So we're on lap 14. I think the bottom side is still the place to go. Clearly, with the way Eisel and Plant lost time when they went down there, I think you've got to stay high right now. Battling for 4th, though, still is Correa with Porter, as now it looks like Brett Fisher is backed up everybody else. Hunter Reeve and Adam Hilton. It's like the 21 slid in line and just had no regard, but we didn't see the replay. Who knows what happened? All we do know is these guys are getting backed up.
Well, Fisher's having a tough time right now up top. I think he's either a little tight or maybe he's just, oh, they get contact right there. Fisher and Reeve, pretty solid hit there for the 44. He's going to get that car back under control. He's going to fall into the clasps of Alan Slight and Randy Giroux right here. Not at all what Hunter Reeve needed out of the lap car of Brett Fisher.
But this is what Randy needs. He's been sliding through the point standings, missed a couple of races, but the UNOH student needs to get something going this evening. This might be it. We're in the Midwest, so it works out for where he's studying, but he has got to get this race going his way. He's now into 9th as Slight, it looks like, has worked back by him. Caution flag flies, and it's going to involve Schrauf and Meitzler.
Interesting here, so we'll have to get a replay back, see what happened right there, but this is going to give those guys a break that kind of got separated from the rest of them, especially you look back through 4th through 7th that got separated from the top 3. This is their opportunity to make something up right here, but we're going to catch a replay. Ryder Schrauf and Dean Meitzler, you see them running into turn 3 side by side. They come up the track. Schrauf's going to maybe tap the wall, actually avoided hitting the wall, didn't avoid hitting Dean Meitzler.
Oh my goodness!
Whoa! Contact right there with the Plant, but oh boy.
Wow. Imagine how we would have reacted if we had seen that one live. Wow is all I've got to say from that one. That's a little bit too early here. We'll get another look at things here with Dean Meitzler and Ryder Schrauf. I can't believe this. And we've got to see this from the nose of Travis Miller. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Wow, I am speechless. I can't even imagine what Travis Miller is thinking right now. That was absolutely one of the scariest, definitely one of the scariest things you could possibly see as a race car driver. So, wow. Just wow.
Certainly. Yes. We're going to take halfway, it looks like, after one lap of green flag racing. We get restarted from Kokomo. They're off and away and already making some contact on the outside, but we are green. Lap 20. And to complete this 20th lap, Miller takes it all the way. Eisel working the bottom side, but no dice just yet.
Not quite. He can kind of hold his own right now, but just barely. You see him holding on to 3rd place right now. Jamie Porter goes around the outside. So when they come off of turn 4, you can see how much shorter the run is on the bottom side. That's really the only thing that's keeping Gavin Eisel in this picture. But actually, I say it, and he's starting to make his nose known. He's starting to show those guys up front that he can make the bottom work.
Yeah, he's starting to find something down there. It's just so hard to pedal the car and to throw it in there. It's almost a little bit off camber when you go all the way down to the bottom like that, so the track is almost working against you. But if you can do it right, it will pay dividends. It's working right now for the 18 car. He is starting to make some inroads on those guys ahead, and certainly through the corners, he's got something figured out. It's just the difference in momentum off that top side. Caution flag.
Yeah. So the caution comes back out, and that's going to change everything up a lot right here. Brett Fisher down there. We got Korea actually involved in this one with Tyler Pachalski. Tough break for that 11 car. Has been so strong so far tonight. Definitely one of the standout performances from that team, and unfortunately he's going to be bringing out this yellow just past halfway.
He was racing with Hunter Reeve. We can see it here on our screen as he was in front of Alan Slight. Pachalski was further back. I wonder if Alan comes up the racetrack potentially and there's some contact. Korea tried to come down and slide to the inside of that 2 car, and the 121 was there. I think that's pretty cut and dry. Korea came down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tanner Korea more than likely wouldn't have even looked. He might not have looked. He might just not have seen that 21 car down there. He went like there was nobody there, and obviously Tyler Pachalski was. So not too bad of an incident, not too much damage, and not too much bad blood, hopefully, between the two of them. You know, sometimes it happens, and evidently it happened to Tyler Pachalski and Tanner Korea there.
Yeah, when a driver makes that confident a move, it's either out of spite or because they thought they were clear, and I think that time certainly he just thought he was clear. We'll get ready to go back green flag racing. Lap 24 under caution flag. That'll bring us lap 25. Look at Plant all over Miller's door. That is something. We get back restarted. Miller pulls away, clears that 79 car even off of the bottom side.
You know, Maxime Plant kind of played intimidator right there, coming back to the green flag with that pressure he put on Travis Miller. Travis Miller stone cold up front. He is not here to play. He's here to race, and he's here to win. Car's getting a little squirrely on the front stretch, but Miller's got trouble with Gavin Isel down low.
Yeah, that bottom side's starting to work out. That's how it works here at Kokomo. That's why it's so wide. That's why it's such a fantastic little racetrack. I'd have to imagine it's closer to a 5th mile way down on the bottom, if not even shorter, maybe even a 1/6 mile. Well, here we go. We see Plant going for it. He's going to dig on the bottom side, but it's not going to work out just yet. 3 wide for the race lead as contact between those top two that we've seen all night long.
And as that happens, Gavin Isel gets the nose on Maxime Plant, so he would be scored P2 if the backstretch was actually the front stretch. He gets it this time, so Gavin Isel moves into position 2 officially on timing and scoring, and that's going to be interesting to see how long this lasts before those guys try to maybe slide down to the bottom side. Travis Miller and Maxime Plant. Miller all over the top side wall right there. That's going to give
a caution flag saves him. He was going to lose that lead if not for Tyler Pachalski and somebody else. I would imagine Dean Meisler or Tanner Korea having problems here. Caution flag flies.
And Tyler Pachalski now finally rolling away on the back straightaway. We'll catch this replay again and see just what unfolded, but absolutely saved by the bell right there for Travis Miller. He was definitely going to get past. I mean, that bottom side's really working in nicely, but we'll catch this replay here. So here's Tyler Pachalski running kind of the middle line. That's a really nice spot for some grip in turns 3 and 4. Comes through 1 and 2. He's sliding up just into the slick stuff. It get him a little sideways and just trying to correct that car. Tanner Korea was right there.
So the same 2 drivers tangle, but very different circumstances that time around. And the one constant is that Pachalski is turned around and the cause of the caution flag. We are under caution with just over 10 to go. In fact, we'll restart with 10 laps to go, and you can see how things have changed. Gavin Isel, a bottom feeder, a catfish, is going to have to start from the top side. That may or may not work out. Who knows if he can challenge that 22 car down to turn 1. He's going to have to, though. He's going to have to find something off of this restart. We'll wait to see, obviously, what happens here. Miller inside, Isel outside, a little bit of contact. Miller pulls away, gets the edge from starting first, and we race down to turn 1.
Really interesting to see what Travis Miller did off that restart. You see he goes up to the top side. Gavin Isel really didn't have much of a choice but to go up there with him. Maxime Plant gets to run the bottom side, and he's got Adam Hilton right behind. You can see Isel just trying so hard to dive in. Oh, and another caution comes out, but you saw Gavin Isel working to get that car down to the bottom side.
It looks like it may be Pachalski again. He's slow in front of the field. Let's take a look back and find out.
Yeah, and I wonder if...
Oh, no. This is going to be something else entirely. Richard Pereira has finally made it to the show, ladies and gentlemen. And look at all of this on the front, or in the back stretch. And then Correa goes sky high. Pereira's in it. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Pereira was in it. Slight looked like he was in it too. Korea, it was just a little bit of a messy situation coming out of turn number 2 right there. So definitely sparing us a yellow flag for a worthy cause, but you'll catch back a replay. Porter's right there with Slight. Slight gets all sorts of swirly in the middle of the corner. Giroux, Strauf actually was the one he made contact with, and then sheesh, everybody just piled in.
Oh my goodness, that's one way to work that meme, man. We are under caution flag. It looks like coming to a single file restart, and we're waiting for the replay graphic to come down. Green flag is back out from Kokomo. Wow, that single file restart really changed things up. You see how it's changed things up. Second position on back. We are just clean and green for the race leader, Travis Miller. Here comes the 79 on the top side. He's got something rolling as the leader now covering up that bottom from Gavin Eisel.
Yeah, Miller's got pressure from Gavin Eisel. He's decided to go to the bottom side to block that run, but right now, Maxime Plant's got an advantage being the only car up top. Miller isn't quite getting through those bottom corners as well as Eisel has been, and if Eisel could just get a little bit of a run, it would be a really great opportunity to get that 18 car in front of both of these guys.
He's going to lose this race. He's not going to win it if he stays on the bottom.
He isn't. Look at how sideways he is in the middle of the corner, and contact right there. Plant goes right around the outside of both of them.
I mean, he's just handed this race to he has, by choice, given this race entirely away to Maxime Plant. The single file restart, if he had stayed up high with Maxime being 2 rows behind him, he had this race won. Travis Miller has made a terrible decision, in my mind, and now spins Adam Hilton trying to fight for the bottom.
And you know what? Honestly, you could think about this in 2 ways, right? You could think about winning a race. You could think about winning a championship. If you go up to the top side, you're blocking Maxime Plant's opportunity to pass you, right? Maybe Gavin Eisel wins the race, but you get second, Maxime gets third. Not what's happening right now. Obviously, Maxime Plant took the race lead. Yeah, that one bit Travis Miller.
That was the complete wrong thing to do. You could tell Maxime was coming up top. And again, I think that top side, you lean on the wall the right way. And even if Gavin passes you, you're going to hold up the 79. Even if on the last lap Maxime gets you, you're going to hold him off for some period of time and wait on the caution flag to not be something involving you. There you see the contact with Adam Hilton that brings out our latest caution and our latest stoppage of action. I just cannot believe what I've just seen. That's like he doesn't want to win.
And you know what I got to say? We're going back to green right here, but I feel so bad for Adam Hilton. He's been running so well lately, and that's not what he needed. That is not what Adam Hilton needed at all.
At green flag racing, 4 laps to go. Maxime Plant on the top side. That's what Travis needed to do, a lap or a restart to go. You see Eisel digging down low. He might have something. He's the best at going down there and working the bottom side, but I just don't think it's good enough. You can see where these rear tires have eaten into the Indiana clay, or Indiana dirt, or whatever you want to call it, and have slicked off that bottom side here in 3 and 4. You see it there. Caution flag gonna stop us again. Allen Slide in it. Tyler Pachalski as well. Oh my.
A lot of damage for that number 2 car right there. Pachalski doesn't seem like he's in too bad a shape. We can only see one side of the car, but definitely interesting scenario. It gives those guys another chance to get a restart that works. Maybe it gives Travis Miller one last lifeline here, but, I mean, this is tough. This is going to be tough for those guys with only 2 laps left.
This is what happens to Pachalski. He just gets helped around by the nose of the 24. The big show, Randy Giroux, not having a great night here at Kokomo. Wow. Wow. When you go down to Kokomo, this is what happens.
Well, Slight had his own incident in behind them, too. I mean, things are just getting a little crazy right here. It's a bull ring, and it's a heck of a track. I mean, you got to go sometime. It's worth your time, worth your money to experience it, but these guys are they're getting a little out of shape right now. I mean, it's the end of the race. It's a bull ring. It's exciting, but, oh, boy, it's getting there.
It's definitely exciting at the current moment. A lot going on, a lot to keep up with here in our championship battle as one more round is about to be finished up. Green flag flies. We're back at it from Kokomo, Indiana. 2 laps to go.
Jamie Porter actually got a really nice start on the bottom side. Gavin Eisel now fighting with Maxime Plant. And right now, really, Travis Miller can really only hope that Gavin Eisel can get something on that 79 car. They come to the white flag again. Maxime is clearing them.
Final lap for Maxime Plant, the final 1/8 of a mile now down the backstretch. He's left everybody literally in his dust. And out of turn number 4, he's a 5-time winner this season in the BRP iRacing Series. Much like he made it 500 after 8 races, he makes it 500 after 10. He's won half of this series.
What a performance by Maxime. Just stayed patient and did what he had to do at the very end of the race. He's going to bring it up there and park it in victory lane here at Kokomo. Brian Clausen Memorial there underneath. But what a show from Maxime Planton. How about Gavin Isel being persistent on the bottom side? That worked out really nicely for him, too.
It really did work out for Gavin Isel. He went down there when he needed to. We know he's better on the bottom side. I think he had to go down there. I still got to question the 22's decision. I think if he had stayed up top a couple of those restarts back, I think Travis Miller would have won this race. We'd be talking about a very different situation, not only in this race, but in this championship fight. Regardless, we've got a chance coming up to talk to these drivers post-race. Don't go anywhere. Interviews and the rest of post-race coverage on the way here at PitStop TV.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back to the virtual Kokomo Speedway in the virtual Kokomo, Indiana. Joe, we've been talking a lot in our little break about what we just watched. I'm still in complete awe as to how those final 10 or so laps went. Can't wait to talk to these drivers and get their sides of things. And of course, we've got to lead off with the guy, the man of the hour, the gentleman, the man who parks it at Kokomo. Maxime, in last week's interview, you talked about the fact that you weren't sure about this place. You were going to have to practice the night of, the day of, coming into this race. It seems like practice has made perfect.
Yeah, so when I'm practice during the night, I don't really know where is the fastest lane for the time trial. So before my time trial, I just go on the live and watch some drivers. Oh, okay, go. I will try this way.
Well, we know the points are getting close. You've still got a pretty healthy advantage over Travis, but we're getting close to where all you have to do is outscore or match Travis Miller tonight. You do exactly that. What happened, though, on those final restarts? What gave you the edge?
On the final restart, when I was 3, I just saw Travis and the 18 go on the bottom, so I just see the door open for the outside, so I just go outside, and because I know I'm really good on this way, and this track here, the momentum is really fast after 5 laps on the top, so that's why I stay there and to take the lead.
Well, it was an incredible race this evening, Maxime. You come out on top, but only 4 laps led. How do you take this roll of momentum and put it towards USA next week?
Yeah, so next week, I don't really know where we go, so I don't know.
We go to USA International Speedway.
USA? Okay, USA. Well, USA don't race a lot on late model at this track. On modify, but late model I'm not sure, so I'll maybe practice the next Monday before the race.
Well, it seems like a pretty good regimen so far. Best of luck to you out there, but who do you have to thank this evening grabbing another race win?
Yeah, thanks a lot for you guys, for the stream, broadcast, everything. That's really amazing for us, and thanks a lot for the family watching the live every time. And thanks for the sponsor on my car. So thanks a lot for the iRacing season and the real life season this summer.
Congratulations once more, Maxime Plant. You park it this evening at Kokomo. Live this one up. We'll see you next week.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Maxime Plant gets the job done this evening. The gentleman reigns once more. Boy, I still can't believe what we've seen. I can't believe that he's got half of these races won as we complete our 10th race of the season. It's incredible what he's able to do, but somebody's been joining him lately, and that's Gavin Eisel.
Yeah, we're going to bring Gavin Eisel in here. He's been very strong, and he runs that bottom side well. Gavin, you like to run the bottom. How do you, as a driver, know when it's time to move down there when everybody's running so top dominant like this tonight?
When I start to suck on the outside, I kind of just move down because there's more bite, but I don't know, I'm better on the bottom anyway. I can't tell how wide these cars are, so I kind of knock the wall down too much. So yeah.
Certainly. Well, it works out for you well. And what do you think about when everybody else starts coming down? Obviously, there's a lot of guys in this series that like running the top side, and especially Travis Miller and Maxime Plant. They like to be up top. They like to hit the top wall. But when they start coming down and kind of getting into the same rhythm and groove that you are, what do you start thinking about as a driver there to opportunize your opportunity to get to the front and stay in the lead?
Just gotta be a little bit more consistent, which is kind of hard because both them guys don't really make a mistake. But you just gotta find your moments and execute them well.
Certainly, and that's, that proves a lot for you running down on the bottom side. Your first top 3 in a while, and obviously some of the best in the business there with Plant and Miller fighting at the very end of that race hard. Certainly is going to put some momentum on your side, give you a little bit of confidence, and make things feel a little better, certainly when you move to USA next week and then on to Fairbury and Charlotte.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We had a rough patch there. I don't know. Those other tracks not the best at. USA is kind of hard because it's usually one lane, but have to qualify good.
And certainly that's a great outlook to have, is just to qualify good and try your best, but maybe that adversity will hold on to you and maybe give you some momentum forward with that. But certainly tonight was no excuse of a great show from you. You did a great job running that bottom side. Who do you have to thank? Who helps you out here getting that 18 car hooked up to be able to put a fight on for second place like this at the end of the season?
Performance Automotive, Speedstop Graphics, Alex Payne for wrapping the car, and then you guys for streaming, and B for putting this whole series together.
Certainly, Gavin. Well, hey, this is certainly something to celebrate for you. Well-deserved race here. You held on for a very great show, and you got P2 out of it. We'll hope to see you. Maybe we'll talk to you one spot further, but certainly hope to talk to you again next week at USA.
Absolutely. See you.
And Gavin Eisel right there, your second place finisher for the night in that number 18 car. Short, sweet, and to the point. I like that style, Andrew. I'll hand it back to you. You got an interesting one with third place here.
This is going to be more than interesting. This is going to be a little bit painful, I would imagine, for Travis Miller. Travis, buddy, I got to be honest. We were questioning, certainly, the decision to go low. What was behind the decision to go low on one of those last restarts and defend Gavin Eisel?
Yeah, I saw him making a lot of time down there. I knew the bottom was going to come in eventually, but I also knew it was going to go away, especially in 1 and 2. And unfortunately, I just didn't time it right, and Max got around us there, and he's just... I didn't think he'd be as fast on the top when he got out in front as he was, and just made a couple bad decisions there, unfortunately, and got really tight on the bottom when I went down there a couple times, just pushed real hard in the center in 1 and 2 a couple laps in a row, and got enabled Gavin to get under there. So just unfortunate, but a podium's still all right. Just no points.
Yeah, it ends up coming out even between you and Maxime this evening. And we can sit here, we can diagnose what happened for hours on end. And we've already said a lot about what we think you could have done. I know it's going to sting even more to sit here and talk more about what you could have done differently. But if you were going to relive those closing laps, what would you do differently now that hindsight is 2020?
Yeah, I think honestly the last lap there when I was racing with Jamie, I ran the top of 1 and 2 and then the middle of 3 and 4. I think that was honestly the most dominant line. I just didn't figure it out until the last lap. So I think if I could have figured that out maybe 6 laps earlier, I would have been okay, and maybe could have slid Max there for the win or something. But just like you said, hindsight's 2020, and can't go back in time. So it is what it is.
Well, we got to talk about points now. Going into USA, it's a racetrack that I'm sure you've got pavement and dirt experience at, but it's really just that dirt side we're going to be leaning on, of course. We've run it in sprint cars, we've run it in modifieds, now in late models. How do you prepare, especially now that you still have to make up 17 points just to draw even with Maxime Plant? That's more than a 5-point advantage every step of the way if you want to win this championship.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're gonna do it. I know I really like USA. I'm really good there, and I love the racetrack. So hopefully that'll play into my hand. I was listening to Max's interview, and he said he hasn't gotten that many laps there. So hopefully we can come in with a little bit of an advantage. It's just unfortunate because we can win the rest of the races, but if he finishes second, we're not gonna gain anything. So we're gonna have to win every race, and he's gonna have some misfortune at least. Maybe let's have a top 10. It's unlikely, but so yeah, it's racing.
Well, Travis, you almost had this one locked, walked, and wrapped up. Can't wait to see what you can do next week, but for this evening, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out from Kokomo?
Yeah, I just got to thank BP Sports, Jam Performance, Gaston's Auto Sales, Miller's Auto Detailing. Beef for putting this on. He wasn't able to make it tonight, as you guys saw, and we had to kind of pull the reins in a little bit, have everybody that was racing tonight kind of play a hand, and it didn't go as bad as we thought it was going to. It actually ran rather smooth, so thankful for that, and got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's always fun.
Certainly a pretty smooth race, I would say, overall. A podium still strong. Congratulations there, but we know you can do better, buddy. We're rooting for you because we want to see you get up there and battle Maxime. Best of luck next week at USA.
For sure, guys. Thank you.
And Travis, you know, I got to be critical of Travis because we've seen him win a championship here on PitStop TV. We've seen him contend for so many race wins. And it's not to beat him down. It's more so to hold him accountable for when he messes up. And this time, he messed up pretty big. We know he can get out there and win. We know he can fight for this championship. And at least for me, that's where this criticism comes from. Because we know Travis Miller is good. Tonight just didn't. I mean, he made the wrong move. I think that's all you can say. He had this race in the bag, just about, led over 30 laps or something like that. He should have won. He should have won. He should have made up a lot of ground on this championship, but he didn't.
Yeah, you know, well, first of all, you know, you give criticism constructively to give people an opportunity to learn, right? If you don't say something about, you know, maybe something goes a little haywire, or you need to learn something and nobody tells you, you know, that's just them kind of giving up on you. So that's definitely giving Travis, you know, a little bit of feedback on something he can work with. But at the same time, you got to pick your driver, I think. That's what I said in the off time we had after the races. You got to pick your driver. You got to say, do I want to defend from Gavin? Do I want to defend from Maxime? And for Travis, that was an opportunity to defend from Maxime and keep a couple points in the championship. Even if Gavin would have kept that bottom side working nicely and gotten the win, it still would have been a 2-point gap from Travis to Maxime that would have given him a chance to get closer in this championship. But obviously, at the end of the night, that's not quite what happened. And it would have been a lot closer if he would have stayed up top like that and maybe given Gavin Isel the win, but also definitely would have been able to put a lot more fight in between himself and the gentleman.
What did happen is yet another Maxime Plant victory. Let's take a look at our unofficial race results. Maxime Plant walks away with it there at the end, a half second over Gavin Isel. One of the largest margins we saw all night long, certainly, with Travis Miller in third. Jamie Porter almost got that position away. We talked about it in that little break, Joe. It came down to under 4/100ths of a second. You see how close it was for third and fourth. Travis had to race for third all of a sudden, and Hunter Reeve was pretty close behind as well. If he had made one more misstep, he could have been fifth or worse. Thankfully, though, he comes in front of Jamie Porter, Hunter Reeve, Randy Giroux, and Adam Hilton there for the top half of the field.
Yeah, certainly a valiant recharge for Travis Miller right there. You got Adam Hilton in 7th, Ryder Schrauf 8th, Tyler Pachalski 9th, and Dean Meisler 10th. All those guys kind of had their ups and downs tonight, but still kept it together enough to get to the end of this race. Alan Slight, P11 tonight in that 2 machine. Then you got Tanner Correa 3 laps down in 12th. Richard Pereira put in enough laps to get himself into 13th. They're starting us off a little late. And Brett Fisher, unfortunately, kind of dipped out a little early. He had a really tough go of things at the start, and that car just didn't work out for him. But hey, 1 down and USA next week for him.
We learned a lot this evening, certainly from Kokomo, a lot about how this championship is changing, yet staying the same, I think, is one pretty good way to put it at this point. It's at any point in time, I think Travis Miller can eke out a big advantage, and tonight it could have been 5 points, and that would have taken this down to 12 with 3 rounds left. Unfortunately, it stays at 17, and we've got a lot more to talk about now at USA. And unfortunately, Maxime Plant proportionally has a lot more to lean on next week. I say that unfortunately because we want to see a battle. Not unfortunately because Maxime might win this championship, but because we want to see a battle for this championship. And it was close. We almost had one. And we might still have one, but it's going to take a lot of hard work from that 22 camp. Let's look at the upcoming broadcast, though, here at PitStop TV. We've got a lot coming up for you, Joe. I'm excited for this week of coverage. Newark tomorrow night at Auto Club, then IRL at Michigan on Wednesday. You plan to be in the field for that one. And then we've got the MSRA Truck Series, the Midwest Sim Racing Association. First time I've been able to say that name on air at Pocono.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I mean, Auto Club's going to be really interesting with Newark. I know that a lot of those guys are excited about 2 lanes of action. Michigan's going to be fun with IORL. I am really excited. I've never run with the IORL guys, so that's going to be really cool. Hopefully I can do one nicely for PitStop TV and maybe even get my own interview. That'd be pretty cool. But then obviously Homeland, Pocono, and the Truck Series should be very exciting as well to wrap up this week. And then obviously again next week we're going to come out to USA, and that's going to be a thriller again, and it should be very exciting.
So a lot to look forward to in our week of coverage. And just beyond that, actually, we can tell you we'll have coverage of the North American Racing League on Sunday morning around 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern time. I know it's going to be early for a lot of you West Coasters, but hey, if you're out in Europe, if you're somehow watching along this evening, by all means, tune in Sunday morning stateside. That'll be Sunday afternoon for all of you guys across the pond. We'll have some GT3 action from Road Atlanta, rather. More on that as the week goes along, but make sure you're here for it Sunday morning. It's going to be an exciting series along with everything we've got to offer this week. And then, of course, next week, USA here for the BRP iRacing series. A lot to keep up with here at PitStop TV. You will not want to fall behind. How do you keep up with it, Joe? Well, you go to our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, even Twitch, another place that we broadcast. You've got to keep up with us.
Yeah, definitely. We like to keep everybody updated on all of the racing series, and obviously, we bring Trey Shuttlesworth. He's very handsome, and he comes on these broadcasts with us to make sure there's the utmost of content there for everybody to keep track of on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. All that stuff's really great, and we're working on giving a lot more to both the series and the partners and the fans, even here with PitStop TV, to keep up with this stuff and make it a little bit more of the weekly show. Obviously, there's one race a week for each of these series, and there's only so much you can see on one night, so to have that opportunity to follow us on all those great platforms is just another chance to keep up with your great drivers and see what sort of unfolds as the week goes on, and see when we get these new shows that come on a occasional basis that we kind of get a one-off or bring a new series on board. It's a really great chance to keep up with us and see what's coming to PitStop TV in the future.
Absolutely, a lot to look forward to. We added one series last week. We're adding another as of Sunday, and we've got a lot more. I'm just going to say that much. We've got a lot more in the next month or so. Make sure to keep up with us. I'm excited for where this channel is going. I'm excited for what we've got ahead of us here at PitStop TV, but you've got to follow along at those aforementioned links. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening here on PitStop TV. This will conclude our coverage tonight of the BRP Pro Dirt Late Model Tour. We thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we really do hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. We certainly did. Hopefully you did too, watching along at home. Once again, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. For all of us here at PitStop TV, Joe and Donahue alongside me, Andrew Cardinal, let's back up. Joe Donahue alongside me, Andrew Cardinale IV. There we go, with Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media and the rest of our team here at PitStop TV. And I do want to give a big shout out as well to everybody that stepped up last week. If you don't know, my real life schedule has been stepping up a lot. I've been at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Dominion Raceway in the past week in real life. You guys have really stepped up. Emerson Arden especially, with the production of all 4 shows last week, along with Joe Donahue on the mic a lot last week. We even had Trey Shuttlesworth stepping up. Well, Trey Shuttlesworth always steps up. We also added Jacob Zala to our crew, as well as bringing Cole Freilich back. All 5 of you guys who stepped up last week. It really does mean a lot to me. This is my baby. Really appreciate all the work you guys did. And I just want to give you guys a nice little shout out here at the end. And by all means, if you're wanting to get involved here at PitStop TV, you can do so. We need you. By all means. My summer's getting busy. I've had to step away. It's crazy to me that I was away for an entire week. We've got to add people in. We've got to get more of you fans on. If you feel like you want to commentate sim racing, by all means, get in touch with me here at PitStop. Andrew at PitStopTV.com. Until next time, though, have a great night. Enjoy our broadcast, and we'll see you there.